I'm Troy Kirby with a quick look at the 2022 Washington State legislative session. The Senate floor debated Engrossed Substitute House Bill 2124, which concerns collective bargaining for legislative employees.
I appreciate that this is new ground for our institution, and it's important that we do it carefully. That's why there's an almost 2-year timeline in this bill to set the guidelines, to take the steps that we need to actually implement a collective bargaining arrangement and agreement.
We don't need this bill in order to have them give a voice. They can come to F&O, they could come to other committee meetings, they could sit down, we could set up a mechanism in place where once a year, maybe in the beginning of the year or after committee days or something, we could go over some of their concerns or things and address those issues. So we are the employer. And when we hear about giving them a voice, I guess the question comes in is, whose voice are we giving them?
I do have some major concerns about Engrossed Substitute House Bill 2124. I believe that we would have been in better position if we had adopted some of the, I think we had 6 amendments yesterday. I think one got adopted by Senator Mullet, but the others did not. And I'm afraid the bill will dramatically alter how the legislature operates in yet to be determined ways. It's a big question mark, a big risk.
In this bill, a couple things I'd like to say, Mr. President. First of all, I'd like to begin with a thank you. We've had a lot of talk this session about bipartisan work, and while I don't think the vote on this bill will be a bipartisan vote, although maybe it will be, I don't know, I do very, very much appreciate the effort by the majority to reach out to this caucus while this bill was in committee and ask for our input. That meant a lot to us, and I think we genuinely did make it a better bill, even if we do not like this as the solution.
Of course, very humbled to be here in such an institution that is the safeguard of our democracy. And I, as one who believes very strongly in democracy, always find it challenging when people spend most of their time in workplaces that don't allow for democracy.
But I will say that the one thing that I have viewed through the many years I've been here, that periodically the staff wants to have a voice in how they are working in this institution. And the great beauty, having spent 20 years of my life doing collective bargaining, the great beauty of that is that collective bargaining allows these individuals to have a voice.
You know, we look through this and we just decided we're going to throw $1 million a year out there for this. Not crazy about that. And, you know, we have nonpartisan staff that every year we trot out here and we brag on them. Now, if they are your staff or our staff, we know what their political views probably are. We know where they would participate in the political process. The best thing we have is nonpartisan staff that acts that way. But, Mr. President, when I look at the PDCs, the groups that would represent our nonpartisan staff are clearly 98% partisan.
I rise in support of this bill, and I want to acknowledge that there are many details yet to be figured out, and I recognize that gives some people a sense of unease with this process. But I think that that's a very normal part of employees organizing.
The bill passed the House 56-41 on March 1st and passed the Senate 28-20 on March 10th. The bill goes to the governor's office for an opportunity to be signed into law. Thank you for watching the 2022 Washington State legislative session.